Hello again. I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with the books that I'm planning on reading in December. I'm also doing the Clear Your Shit readathon, which is a readathon centering on books that are on your TBR, and for me, that means books that I've read or books that I've bought previous to this year. So books that I bought in 2020 and back. Not all of them are like that, but I tried to focus on books that I had, had before this year. So I'm going to share with you the prompts and then the book that I chose for those prompts. The first one is to read a fantasy book, and I chose Soul of the Sword by Julie Kagawa. This is the second book in a series about a little kitsune. So she's a little fox demon who has been raised at this shrine and protected, and now she has this big responsibility to keep this sacred scroll safe because there is a demon on the loose and it wants to destroy their world, and she's got to keep it safe and bring it to a shrine. She's picked up kind of a ragtag crew, and this, I thought when I read the first book, it was a great read-alike to the anime series Inuyasha. The next prompt was to read a book with a purple cover. This has, purple along the borders and on the spine. This is Touch the Night by Max Booth III. And this is about two young teenagers who get picked up by the police and disappear, and then their mothers have to rescue them. It seems like it gets pretty messy. The very end of the synopsis says, together they will embark on a surreal and violent journey into a land of corrupt law enforcement, small town secrets, gravitational oddities, and ancient black magic. So, right up my alley, of course. There's also a prompt to read a book with a female or non-binary main character. I picked up The Sanatorium for this by Sarah Pierce. This is going to be for a trope video I'm doing in the future about asylums. And this is about an asylum that has been renovated into a very fancy 5-star hotel. The main character, Ellen, gets invited to celebrate her brother's and his fiance's engagement, but then the brother's fiance goes missing, and there is something very sinister about this hotel, it turns out, and it's a mystery. The next prompt is to read an intimidating book, and I chose a hard-hitting nonfiction about World War II, one of the most infamously evil people who has probably ever walked our planet that we know of. That's Josef Mengele. This is Mengele, The Complete Story by Gerald L. Posner and John Ware. This goes through, I'm assuming, before his time in Auschwitz, through to World War II, and even after, where he escapes to South America and had evaded the authorities for decades. I think this is intimidating. Really, most nonfiction books, I know that I'm not going to read them as quickly as their fictional counterparts. And so it's a little bit intimidating because of that, but also because of the content. I know this is going to be just a really tough read. I picked up another tough World War II history book last month that I still have not finished. It's just been taking me a really long time. It's taking me like twice the time. When I sit down and I read it, I'm reading it at half the pace I normally would a fiction book. So I know it's intimidating for many different reasons. The next prompt was a freebie. So I picked up a book that I meant to read last month. This is A Nest of Nightmares by Lisa Tuttle. This is a short story collection, and this is the last of my 5-star predictions. I've never read anything by Lisa Tuttle, and I can't really remember why I put this on this list, but hopefully it'll be a 5-star read, I guess. The next prompt was to read a book you don't remember the details of. Here it is, Her Pretty Face by Robin Harding. When I put this book on this list originally, I really didn't remember the details of this. But I looked at it briefly for a video I did after I made this list. What was it for? It was for the end of the year book tag. And I mentioned this book as one that I really wanted to get to by the end of the year. So, you know, I looked at the synopsis so I could tell you guys a little bit about it. And already it's become foggy because I have a goldfish brain. But I believe this is about a woman who has a like a troubled son, a son who I don't know if he's being a troublemaker or if he's just having like difficulties learning and stuff. But eventually she enrolls him in this academy, and the academy moms are kind of well-to-do and tutti frutti, and she doesn't quite fit in, but she tries to, and she meets somebody who is kind of enigmatic, and she's drawn to this person, and that's all I know about this. It's a thriller, and I've heard it's good. I won this in a Goodreads giveaway some time ago, and I should have read it when I got it, and I didn't. Next up, the prompt was to read a book with a water theme, and is there anything more watery than Water Baby by Patricia Wallace? I don't know if you can hear my cat. He is just walking around yelling. I read another book by Patricia Wallace a year or two ago, probably more like 2. It was one about twins. It was not very good. And honestly, I'm not expecting much more from Water Baby. This is one of the most, or the more infamous zebra book covers, paperbacks from hell covers. And yeah, this is about a young girl whose family dies in a boating accident, and she feels very drawn to the sea, but there might be something in the sea that's trying to harm her. It's short. It's, you know, barely 300 pages, so hopefully I'll be able to get through it quick. Some of these vintage books do take me a bit longer to get through, but then we have a prompt that is to read a book with more than 3 characters. I was looking at my bookshelf and trying to figure out something for this, and I was like, what's like the next Stephen King book I have to read? Because for a while I was trying to read his books sort of chronologically, so I was just looking out there to see what I haven't gotten to yet. And I was like, Christine, that has to have more than 3 characters, right? Because it's like the car and the car's owner. So there has to be at least one other person, right? And then I was looking at the synopsis, and very, very nicely, coincidentally, it says, scene, a middle-class suburb of Pittsburgh. Time, 1978. Cast of characters, Artie Cunningham, Dennis Gilder, and Lee Cabot. Perfect. And that's not even including Christine the car. So, would you look at that? Christine's about a killer car. The next prompt was also a freebie, so I chose Near the Bone by Christina Henry. This is a book I'd like to read during the cold weather months to get some spooky cold weather horror vibes. This takes place on the mountain. It's about a woman named Maddie, and she lives with a man named William, and you get the feeling that she is sort of trapped there maybe, but you don't really know why. William seems like he's a very angry person, and then, you know, some strangers come to the mountaintop, and they're looking for a creature in the woods that I don't think Maddie has seen, but she's seen like strange mutilated corpses and knows that, you know, there's something wrong with the woods. And you know what? I love a book about creepy woods. The final book here is Crier's War by Nina Varela. This is to fit the prompt of a book that is opulent. And I think this sort of is. It's got this kind of like bronzy, shiny cover. And this is interesting. It seems like maybe a fantasy sci-fi mash. So previous to when this book takes place, humans had created these automatons, but then the automatons had an uprising, and now they rule, I don't know, the kingdom, the world. I'm not sure how widespread this automaton ruling is, but they've sort of forced the humans into servitude, and now the humans are living under the rule of these automatons, and I'm assuming that, you know, there's some sort of rebellion and a girl and things like that. I don't know. But it's, I mean, really the automaton uprising now ruling the humans thing seems really interesting to me, so I'm hoping this is good. But, you know, Salem, so rude. We'll just see how that goes. So those are the books I'm planning on getting to in November. As always, I would love to hear if you guys have read any of these and what you thought about them. I will see you all in another video soon. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye!